halfway through, you're not comfortable letting the bald beauty shine, then we could grab a hat for you.
I might need a hat. I have to wear one up here from now on. That way I can either take it off, put it on, take it off, put it on. Because the headphones look so lopsided and crooked right now, you know, it's one of those things.
I really don't think they look as bad as you think they do.
Oh, it does.
No, it's actually probably the glasses that look worse.
I have my glasses on so I can see.
Oh, wow. Thanks for dressing up for the occasion. Appreciate it.
Oh, you're welcome. No problem.
He, of course, the bald beautiful one is your WWE Hall of Famer, Devon. That is his lovely wife who has already rolled her eyes many times before the show even started. Taylor, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
No, I'm doing well. I am Mo.
And in the background, we have my daughter, Talia.
I see that. Making a cameo appearance already.
Okay.
What's up, Steve S? How you doing?
Okay, go sit.
It's a family affair.
Why not? Maybe our guest will have additional guests to bring on as well. Why
Absolutely.
not?
Absolutely.
Before we get to that, we wish Kyle a belated happy birthday, sir.
I'm sorry.
Happy birthday,
Yeah.
Kyle.
One of our
Kyle,
regulars.
happy birthday, buddy. Happy birthday, man.
One of our diehards there.
Absolutely.
All right. With that said, I didn't realize you guys went as far back as you did, so I'm really looking forward to hearing some of these stories. Maybe you know him as Aiden English from his WWE run. Maybe you hear him every single week on Impact. Hell, maybe you've heard his voice on New Japan. Matt Moris, welcome to the show, sir.
Howdy,
Hey, Matt,
do?
how you doing,
What's going
man?
on, everybody?
Welcome to the show. Matt, like I said before we went on the air, I had no idea your real name was Matt.
Oh my God. I feel like that's such a common story with wrestlers, but like we know it again, we have so many identities and stuff like that, but you usually, to keep it straight, where everyone like at work, just call me by my work name. Everybody, from the producers to the writers, everybody just calls you by your work name. And so it's how everybody knows. And so that's often the only identity we know each other as.
Mhm.
And in fact, first story to kick things off, one of my first things, which proved almost useless, when I first got signed to FCW, I remember I made it my duty because I'm like, I don't want to be a mark. So I'm going to, I don't want to go in and calling like Dean Ambrose. I'm going to go on Wikipedia and learn everybody's shoot name and call them by their, and introduce myself like, hey, John, hey, Steve, whatever, which kind of backfired because a wrestler thing is almost like, let me introduce myself to you. You know me as my work name. And then it's almost like that, like you're on the shoot name basis with me. So
Right.
sort of thing. So it was a valid attempt, but it maybe backfired a little bit.
I remember, us going through the airports. And of course, this is when social media is now big and everybody knows everybody's real name and they know where they live and all of that. But anyway, we're in the airport and somebody comes up and asks for an autograph. Devon, can I have your autograph? Yeah, sure, not a problem. Then all of a sudden they go to Bubba. Hey, Mark, can I have your autograph? Bubba, what? Excuse me? Mark, hey, get away from me. Because Bubba felt like if the fans came up to them and said they're his real name, they were trying to be like one of the boys. And I think a lot of fans don't realize that. But we have to understand as talent that the names are out there, that people know. So sometimes they feel conflicted. Do I call him by his real name or do I call him by his wrestling name? So it's a chance that you take. But I think, I don't know, because of all the years before the internet, if you knew Hulk Hogan as Hulk, Hogan on WWE TV, you would never know him as Terry Bollea because you didn't know that unless you were a smart mark or you'd read the dirt sheets.
Yep.
Or when the internet came out, they released the names and stuff like that. So, I would think you would just keep with the wrestling names, but you got some people like to be assholes. Hey Mark, hey Terry, how you doing?
Yeah.
Watch me call him Terry. Hey Terry, hey Mark, how you doing? And Bubba, bam. That's all it was.
Yeah, that sounds about right. It sounds like the Bubba I know.
I love that we start off with this conversation because I was going to ask about that with the different names. I've been fortunate throughout the years to host a lot of wrestling panels at different Comic Cons. And so I would always love it when somebody would come up to the Q&A mic, the guest mic, and say, "Oh, excuse me." In this case, the one that I really remember was a CM Punk panel where a guy walks up, says, "Oh, I have a question for you, Phil," and then proceeds to ask questions about Christian and some other stars, referring to them only by their first names. And CM Punk went around from being agitated into realizing there was an opportunity. So he started like questioning this kid. Okay, what's Brodus Clay's real name? Okay, what's this guy's real name? I just had fun with it. Never got to this kid's question.
Yeah. Beautiful. That's how you work them.
No.
So, Aiden, I think the last time we saw each other was, of course, in WWE. I was a producer, and I was actually producing you and Rusev. I think I had your last
Probably.
match. I had your last match together, which I thought was phenomenal.
Oh, thanks a lot, Devon. Okay, that all makes sense now.
Yeah. I thought the match was phenomenal, and I thought, the way you would come out and introduce Rusev, I thought everybody thought it was great. And you rap, and then you went from introducing him regular into the song, and then you started rapping. I remember when I first heard, I went, "What the fuck? Wait, what?"
A lot of people did.
Yeah, I was like, "Wait, what?" But here's the thing: he was good. It wasn't that it was bad. He was
okay.
good. No, it was good.
So were you there? Were you there when Vince told me to stop?
Yes.
So the story behind that was I was on the road. I think there was. I was riding by myself a lot at that point for a little bit. So I was listening to the Hamilton soundtrack on repeat pretty much. So like I was trying to do that. I'm like, oh, this is so cool. This musical is it's huge. I love this music. I love this kind of like sing-songy, hip-hop inspired musical. That's very cool. So I'm like, maybe I can transfer that over. I didn't want to straight up. I'm not going to be like Twista or like Eminem, like some super fast.
That ain't that attitude.
That ain't happening. So I'm like, but maybe if I have a little bit of like quick rhyme, hip hop thing into like a song, sing at the end sort of deal, maybe it'd be cool. So I tried it, and I kept doing it, and nobody really said anything. And then just to show you the way it works, sometimes I did it for like a month straight, and finally, like I came back, and they were like, Vince is like, "What the hell is that? Is he rapping?" And it's like, yeah, they're like, "He's a singer. Tell him to sing again." It's like, all right, fine. I'll go back to the OG. So
now, the one question I do have to ask is that the voice. Where the hell did that come from? I don't think anybody looking at you would expect to have that type of voice. Your voice is phenomenal. Number one, and number two, it's like opera, almost very close to opera-ish. Wouldn't you agree?
Mean, so here's the thing. I've worked all of you. I am the definition of repetition and fake it till you make it. And maybe I'm just hard on myself. Like I'll say this: I can carry a tune. I know that I played music my whole life, so I can carry a tune. I am not a good singer, and you're gonna say no, you won't know this.
BS.
Just because I can sit on a note and like not be totally off key doesn't make me good. When you like go listen to like serious, like as much as I love everybody being so kind, and you tell me I have an interesting sounding voice on commentary, I'll love it. I'll love you for it. But go listen to me, and then literally 5 seconds later, listen to like Josh Groban, and tell me who's a good freaking singer. Again, I tried to do something new. I think it worked. It was fun. It was different. And I'm the definition of just like you tell someone something enough, they're bound to believe it. And I just told you I was a good singer for years, and people believed it. So,
no, I don't think. No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You're not going to convince me. I've seen you do it at live events. I've seen you do it, of course, at TV. I mean, I'm sorry. You hit the note, and the thing about it is, you say what you say, and then as you're saying it, you're singing it.
yes.
And then when you get to that part where you're about to announce them, you hit that high note, and it's just like, okay, there's no way you could be faking that. I'm sorry.
I mean, it's okay. Like, I guess that's all I'm saying is it's okay. But I'm like, go listen to a real singer, like a real singer, and then you'll see what it sounds like. But I think I did something fun, something cool. Those house shows were especially fun because those were my infamous like 10-minute entrances. Because I took my time, but damn, it got good heat. It got good.
Good heat. Very good heat. I mean, I remember, in producing the show, whether it would be with Dean Malenko, Fit Philly, or Jamie Noble, we would always sit up there and go, good God, why is this man in this business? He's in the wrong business. He better go sing. I mean, it's not like you're Milli Vanilli.
Yeah,
it's not like you're not Milli Vanilli. It's not like, you're moving your mouth and the music is coming out through the speakers, but it's not really you. It's you.
You're damn right. I will say that. You're damn right. Always 100% me. No music, no nothing. It's all right
up in there. See, my wife can say the same thing in terms of me with singing. I'm no Milli Vanilli. When I sing. Taylor, put me over now. The time is now. Put me over. Okay, you want to win brownie points with me? Put me over, kid. Put me over.
Wow. Wasn't there a thing where like you sang the national anthem or something, right?
Yeah, that was a long time ago. But anyway,
yeah, but
you'll never
tell
that one.
Yeah, you'll never be able to find that one. You'll never, and I would look for it. And then here's the bad thing about it. It was me, Spike, and Bubba were in the ring. We are doing the Star Spangled Banner, and it was during the time we had the feud with La Resistance. So we come down the ramp, we beat them up, throw them out. Now all of a sudden we start singing the Star Spangled Banner. Now Bubba and Spike can't sing worth of crap, especially Spike. He's god awful. And here it is. I'm trying to do my best impression of Lillian Garcia and hit those high notes when it goes. And I'm actually not doing a bad job. And all of a sudden, I hit that one note, and I actually hit it, which shocked me. And Spike takes the mic and puts it down and goes, asshole, and puts it back.
Gotta show everybody up.
Listen, if you could find it, Mo, I would love for you to send it to me because I've been looking for it and can't find it.
I'm sure I could find it.
Yeah, please.
Now that it's out there and people know it can't be found, it'll be found.
It'll be found now. So
I think I still know a couple people in the video department back at WWE. Maybe dig through. They record all those house shows.
No, it was live. No, it was live on Monday Night Raw.
Oh, then it definitely is around somewhere.
That's what I thought, but nobody seems to find it. I've been asking and asking.
It's not on the network or anything.
Yeah, they found me when I was in Madison Square Garden as a 17-year-old kid, booing Ravishing Rick Rude, going like this, but they can't seem to find me singing the Star Spangled Banner.
That's freaking great.
If we can find the SpaghettiO commercial, we'll find the Star Spangled Banner.
There you go. There is no spaghetti commercial.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's what? Ravioli.
Whatever
it is.
Make sure you get your Italian pastas.
Yes.
Correct.
Get them right. Is it sauce or gravy, Taylor?
What?
Do you say sauce or gravy? A true Italian would know this.
Like SpaghettiOs?
Yeah. Not on spaghetti.
It's sauce.
Spaghetti. Okay.
Oh.
Okay, good. A true Italian would say sauce. They wouldn't say.
Who calls it gravy?
There's a lot of people that would say.
I have heard that. It's weird to me too, but I have heard that.
It's out there.
Gravy.
Yeah.
I put gravy on biscuits.
Noodles and gravy, I've heard it called. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's what but people call it that. And believe it or not, I didn't know that either. I thought it was always sauce. And Bubba turned me on to that, because it was in a movie. I don't know, it was Goodfellas, one of those movies where somebody said gravy and it smacked him in the back of the head. It said stupid as sauce. And it started from there. Yeah. I can't remember. So, but yeah, that's been a question for a lot of Italians. Gravy or sauce?
Always been sauce to me. So.
It's always been sauce to me too.
Gravy is great. Gravy is what you put on turkey and biscuits. Mashed potatoes and biscuits, things like that.
But Bubba used to tell me that's how you can tell a true Italian, if they can tell you the difference if it's sauce or gravy. And I said, well, it was always sauce to me, so I don't know. And I ain't Italian, so unless I'm from Sicily.
I mean, when you make spaghetti, you swear you Italian.
Listen, capisce Italiano too,
Hey!
Hey!
Do you even know what the currency is over there, Devon?
Hell no, I don't know. I think hell no. But I tell you what, it's got to be better than anything over here right now.
Oh God,
Good
yeah.
God. I bet you gas is cheaper over there than it is here.
I don't know about that.
Yeah.
No, probably more expensive because they're also not as reliant on their cars as we are.
Oh, okay. Well, I figured I would go, for the batter home run there, but I guess I didn't.
Daniel's got your next movie role. Devon Dudley stars in The Black Italian.
Yes.
You know what? I like that. I like that title. And you know something? I'm gonna write a script and see if Vince likes it, and if he does, it'll be in WWE Productions.
Well, you know that a pseudonym for the mafia in like the early 1900s was the Black Hand.
Really?
So you could take that and just have a play on words and be like the gangster pick. You know what
Come
I mean?
on now. I like that. I like
All
that.
right.
Great. Now Devon's going to take his part.
See now Hollywood,
gosh.
baby.
Listen, I was
Giving him
listen,
ideas.
I was with an Italian for 20 years, so that makes me Italian.
By proxy.
Yeah.
Now, Matt, is that a fun fact you learned while you were in the Vaudevillains, or is that something you actually just knew?
Oh no, that goes back. Oh, that's way prior to vaudeville. I was a little like gangster history nerd actually in like middle school, high school, which is not alarming at all to people. A 12, 13-year-old who's obsessed with organized crime. But yeah, no, I loved all the Godfather, Goodfellas, Donnie Brasco, Once Upon a Time in New York, stuff like that. I loved all that stuff. So,
all right.
I mean, I'm a big fan of all of those movies now.
oh yeah,
I watch if the Godfather, and Taylor will tell you, if the Godfather's on, 5 days a week, I'm watching 1, 2, 3, and 4.
3?
I'm watching all 3.
Dude.
Wait,
3
what's
wasn't
4?
okay. No, I'm sorry, there wasn't 4. There wasn't
gonna
4,
say.
but 3 wasn't that. Of course, you can't touch 1 and 2, and of course, it loses its appeal. Of course, as you watch, because it's not like 1 and 2. But I still watch it.
Are you 1 or 2? What's your favorite?
I'm gonna say 2, and I tell you why. A lot of times, not only because Al Pacino plays Michael Corleone all through the first one, he's a badass, but I like it because it tells more of a story on the back end of the father of Vito, because you don't really get the backstory fully on the first one, but you get it in the second one, which I was surprised because I figured maybe telling that story they would have told a lot of it in the first one and not the second. But they went back and told you the story and how the family really developed in part 2.
Yeah, no, I'm a fan. I like them both, but the De Niro stuff from the early Don Corleone stuff, I think is just very, very cool. They balanced it well with the modern Michael story. Like sometimes it's hard to do though when you're telling like 2 different storylines at the same time, kind of juggling back and forth. And I think they did a really good job. So I think I'm with you. I'm a 2 man.
Yeah, I love 2 and 1. I love 2, but I think when I'm watching 1, I can't wait for 2.
Yeah,
can't wait for 2 to come on right after.
There's a joke in there somewhere.
Yeah.
I watched number 1 and I'm just waiting for number 2. You know what I mean?
Fantastic. One of the stories I have with you, I don't know if you remember this, but it was you and your partner. When you guys were the Vaudevillains and you were tagging with Bubba and myself. And I forgot who we were in the ring with. And it was on Monday Night Raw. And I know they wanted to get you guys like some time in the ring and doing your thing. And me and Bubba just kept going in the ring and tagging each other in. We would tag you guys in, but we tag each other in. And the referee, I think it was John Cone, he goes, they said tag the Vaudevillains in now. They want you out of the ring, tag them in now. They want them in now. So I'm listening to him, and I'm not really paying attention, right? So, because, we're working, and then all of a sudden, he goes, Devon, God damn it, they said tag out. I went, oh, shit. I tagged you or your partner in, and you come in, and then all of a sudden, Bubba was like, oh, fuck it. He reached over and tagged one of you guys, and then they went right back on the headset again. They were like, get them in the ring now. Tell the Dudleys to stay out of the goddamn ring.
That's so fun. I don't remember. So I remember that time, and I remember like those matches. There were a couple. I think it was at that time that was Enzo and Cass and New Day. Those were kind of we were kind of like the 4 team because you guys were doing stuff with Enzo and Cass, and we were kind of going into some stuff with New Day. So I don't remember the referee call, but I do remember that match and those and it's such a hard thing. We were the new guy. This was right after WrestleMania when we got called up, when they were calling all the NXT guys up. And it's always that touchy territory. Like you hear, it's like, you got to be bold. Hey, you got called up for a reason. You got to be bold, but then you're working with veterans and stuff like it. You don't want to piss anybody off. So it's like, we kind of acquiesce to like, you guys want in, you can be in, whatever. We don't want to rock that boat. So that was just the beginning of like the classic, like just like walking on eggshells, sort of kind of minding your P's and Q's. Where do you get bold and kind of put yourself out there? Where do you kind of hold back and just listen? So that was our very first kind of taste of navigating those waters.
God, man, I remember that. And then I expected to get my ass chewed out when I got through the curtain, and nothing was said.
No.
Nothing was said at all. And then the only person that said something was the producer at that time, told us what was going on back there. But then he also said, because again, they wanted to see you guys and see how you guys did, in front of a crowd and how you guys handled yourselves in the ring. But me and Bubba was just trying to prove a point too, because we had just came back after being gone for 10 years. So I'm in the ring trying to prove that I still got it, and I'm still going in there. Meanwhile, I'm told to get the hell out of the ring.
Yeah.
I'm like, did I suck that bad? And when did it come to the point in time when you guys felt that leaving NXT? I mean, I know you got called up and you had no other choice, but when did you actually feel like comfortable on the main roster? At what point did you feel comfortable?
That's a tough question. I mean, it's like, because there's part of me, it's like, hey, you never get comfortable, really, like, but that's a different kind of definition of comfortable. But when we kind of got used to things, I would say probably by like it took a couple months, but by the end of that, we came up in April. By the end of that summer, just doing the house shows, did a couple of like tours. I remember we did like a Japan tour, did a Europe tour. Again, getting our riding buddies, establishing those relationships, who you sharing hotels with, who you sharing cars with, what's your gym routine, getting those down. So yeah, it took a couple months, but after that, I think it was even better once, not saying anything personally, but once we ended up splitting off like the year later, I found my groove a lot more after that once I was on my own. I will say that.
Right. And I think some guys who have been in a tag team, when they separate, they find their own groove.
Yeah.
I mean, again, Bubba and I, we separated twice, once in WWE and once in TNA. And, he found his groove when he was in TNA. And I don't care what anybody says. I found my groove in Reverend Devon. I thought the gimmick was good. I think a lot of people thought the gimmick was good as well. And I remember my last match with Funaki as Reverend Devon. It was like one of the best matches I ever had as a singles. And I always said, people ask me all the time, who was your favorite person to wrestle as a singles? And I always said Funaki. I loved working with Funaki. He was so easy and entertaining. And, I remember there was a couple of spots where we would do like the Karate Kid, like he would bump me around, and I'd come at him like I was about to punch him, and he'd go like this.
Crane kick,
the crane kick, and I'd bump back, take the bump, and people would laugh, it would be hysterical. I loved it. He was so easy to work with.
Yeah, absolutely. Dude, those are the best opponents, those people who you like, it's like, now it's going to be good. It's like a night off.
Yeah.
Right. Those guys who are just like, oh, you see their name across the paper from you and you're like, oh, baby. Not only is it going to be fun, it'll be entertaining. We're going to, it's not going to hurt me. That's always good. For me, man, I always say this, and I've had a lot of really, really good opponents and stuff like that. But like whoever sticks out at the top, Shawn Spears, if you remember, he was Ty Dillinger in WWE, Perfect 10 and all that stuff. Me and him were married for like 6 months, and then even after that we would be in a lot of like 6-man tags and stuff against each other and house shows, dark matches, etc. But man, we had just such a good chemistry, and same thing like you were saying, like we could turn it up and be like totally gaga and entertaining. He does all the Perfect 10 stuff, I do singing stuff, all total take 2 bumps each in 15 minutes. And or it's if we were just feeling gung ho and it was like this hot crowd in, Spain or the UK, who always have awesome crowds. We're like, all right, let's throw it out there. Let's do the dive. Let's do the swanton roll through, dipsy doo dazzle, and we could do that too. And same thing. We knew it would be safe. We knew it would be fun. We knew it would get a reaction. So, yeah, I love finding those people that you can just kind of click with.
God, I love it. What about you, Mo? Who do you click with?
Nobody. I'm still trying to find who I click with.
Hey, don't give up.
Thank you.
It's never too late.
Yeah.
Yep. And we already know, Taylor, who you click with.
Oh.
Big Daddy.
Not based on the conversation I've heard so far.
Big Daddy. Come on, Taylor. Now's your time to put me over, kid. Come on.
If you call me kid one more time,
Yeah.
you're gonna have a problem.
I want to point out, people probably think like they turn this on for the camera, that this is just like a shtick.
Right.
No,
It's not.
I hung out with them for a couple of days, and this was just their dynamic. So
Yeah. Mo couldn't stop laughing, and it wasn't because of the gummies.
Yeah.
no, that certainly didn't hurt there. I do have a question from Only the Strong. Says, if you decide to go back to WWE, would you try to repackage yourself to get a US or IC title shot, or better, of course, world title?
Sure. Honestly, so I thought about this a little bit, and the world, it can always change and everything, blah, blah, blah. But if I'm being honest, if I were to go back to WWE, like in now-ish or whatever, like let's just say it was tomorrow, I wouldn't go back as a wrestler. I would not return as a wrestler.
Okay.
It's sometimes it's one of those things where, this sounds really pessimistic, but I promise it's not. It's kind of the way I like to view it. It's like, I have a very, very good feeling. I know how I'm perceived as a wrestler, given who's running the show and everything right now. And that's fine. And it's hard to change that perception. But as a broadcaster, I know what I bring to the table. So I would gladly love to work with any Michael Cole again, Corey Graves, Byron Saxton, Vic Joseph, Wade Barrett, all those guys on all their shows who do such a phenomenal job. So yeah, it would have to be under different circumstance. So as of right now, and the world can always change, if I were to go back to WWE, I would probably only go back under an announcing kind of service.
And how is the announcing going on Impact? Like, do you have a lot of freedom and creativity to bring your character out, or is it kind of like the WWE system where, you got to tell that story and then from there you can veer a little bit?
I mean, there's a lot of freedom in Impact, and I'm working with another former WWE commentator, Tom Hannafin, formerly Tom Phillips, who's fantastic. He was one of my mentors, which pisses me off because I keep forgetting he's younger than me. But like, he was kind of like my boss at WWE because he was like Michael Cole's number 2. So he was kind of like my boss for a while. And like, he's so smart and he's so good and he taught me so much. So you end up having that like student teacher relationship where in your head, you're like, oh, this guy's older than me and blah, blah, blah. And the guy's like 2 years younger than me. And so it always makes me mad. But no, I get to work with him and he's so good. And he has that roll down. He's such a great play-by-play guy. We have a lot of freedom to operate. And I think it's nice because I think we bring not only chemistry because we know each other, we've worked with each other before, but also I think for that show, as much as people might rag on WWE sometimes, it's like they get some things right. And, they're a very huge, successful company because they get certain key things right. And one of the things they do pretty well, I think, is the commentary. Like Michael Cole runs a pretty good ship and he gave great tips and everything to guys like Vic, guys like Tom, who've passed those on to me. And so like, I think we bring like the best of that WWE style, the things that the notes that they hit, the story points to hit, don't talk too much, speak in sound bites, things like that. But then we're also given more freedom of the silly things, you've heard about words, there's no really off limit words we can say, or, it's a little less restrictive on things like that. Mm-hmm. So we are allowed to bring that kind of freedom, but I kind of, I have my character there, and I teamed for a while with Deonna Purrazzo, so I play that up whenever she's out there. We had a really nice run together, so I like to play that. But honestly, I kind of taken this opportunity to be a little bit more, I don't know if straight-laced is the word, but I'm kind of just being me. I'm taking bits from, my Drama King character, because that's what I still refer to myself as. but I'm kind of just being, more of a straight shooter storyteller. I kind of lean heelish when it comes to, characters and things like that and storylines. But like, I'm not out there singing all my commentary lines. Oh my God, look at the shoulder tackle.
That would be awesome, though.
For like, I've thought about it for like one match or for the right place, right time. But like, it would be awesome. And then talk to me 90 minutes later when you're like, shut this guy up.
Right. Like, it sounds good for a match.
Yeah, for a minute. Yeah.
Oh, man.
I think, I don't know. I think it would get over. I think it would get over huge.
Could be. We'll see.
I'm a little disappointed you didn't sing his introduction there, Devon.
Yeah, man.
I didn't want to say anything. I'm a little,
I've been cleaning all day. I got like that bleach in my throat.
You have bleach in your throat? Go to the hospital. Oh my God. Get out.
No, I've been dealing with bleach all day. So it got in my, it's kind of like in my throat and my nostrils, so I really don't have that. I don't have that right now.
When were you using bleach?
Yeah, what are you cleaning?
There
There are children around.
Exactly, and that's why I'm doing it. I got 2 kids that kill my room. Good God, they kill these. Listen, I've got 4 boys, and the 4 boys that I've had, I've never ever, I was out of breath taking care of kids like I am with my 2 daughters. Good
Our
God.
girls, they're
They will
tornadoes.
destroy a room within 5 seconds. I mean, you go in there and you clean it, and it's all good. Turn around, go outside the door. Before you get your foot outside their bedroom door, the room is right back to where it was.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a hurricane hit it. I kid you not.
How old are the girls?
2 and 3.
Okay. Oh, so they're close. So I was gonna ask. I was gonna ask you a question. I'll ask, how are your boys doing? I know they were wrestling. They still wrestling?
Yes, the boys are still wrestling. They're doing their thing right now. They're on the indie circuit. They were in AEW for a little bit, and they kind of left there for a little bit, and now they are just doing independence. And I don't know. I think they're probably looking to come to NXT. So we'll see what happens as time goes on.
And okay, so then they're doing good. The girls, they're young, but they're close in age. Is that the next generation? Are they? Oh, you're gonna give me that typical dad, that typical.
Okay,
nope, my girls are never, ever getting into it. I'm sure you probably said that about the boys when they were little, didn't you?
I did. It was The Rock that pretty much changed my mind about it because he told me the story about his dad not wanting him to wrestle.
Yeah.
Because when he left football, he didn't know what he was going to do at that point. And then, of course, he thought about wrestling, and his father, Mr. Johnson, was totally against it. Yeah. And I remember a conversation came up in the locker room, and Rock had asked me the same question. What do you think if your boys joined the business? And I said, absolutely not. I was totally against it. Absolutely not. No way, no how. And he goes, why? I was like, no, this is not the right business for them. Because you know what we had to go through to get to where we wanted to go. And to have your kids, have to go through what you went through, you don't want that. Mm-hmm. And how would you feel if somebody jumped in your kid's face yelling and screaming because they didn't do something right, or kid, get the hell over there and clean that bathroom, pay your dues, things like that. It's like, it's like nails on a chalkboard. You don't want to do that. So he told me, he goes, listen, Devon, if my father wouldn't have agreed to, help train me and do what I do, I wouldn't be The Rock. I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing, the movies and all of that. My life could have totally took a different path, a different path. So, maybe you should think about it. If you train them, do it yourself, then they got brought up into the business the right way.
That's fair.
As long as you train them and not let some other, at the time he would use the word jabroni, train them. And he was right, because Bubba and I both, when we had the school in Kissimmee, we trained my boys, Terrence and Terrell. And then, of course, Bubba went to Connecticut, opened up Team 3D over there, and I opened up DDA in Winter Park, because we went our separate ways. So, and they came to the school and did what they did. So we kind of had both of an influence on the boys, So, and I'm proud to say that every time they are at an indie show or somewhere where there's like somebody from the Attitude Era. You know, I get a text or a phone call going, "Damn, Devon, those boys are good. Those boys are real good." You know, and I'm very happy about that. You know,
Well, yeah, they're good because they know that their dad's buddies are texting them every show they go to. Well, they're already getting that backstage politics experience, even on the indies.
Listen, you don't want to go over? Have the promoter call me.
Yeah.
Of course, the Dudley family is historic in wrestling. You're kind of familiar with historic wrestling families. Daniel wants to know what's it like being a member of the Guerrero family.
So,
yes.
So I get this one a lot, and it always feels weird to me because to me, in a way, because I'm like, to me, it's like anybody, it's like your in-laws, anybody, it's your family. That's all they are. Like, I don't even think about wrestling really with it, and other than like I know that my mother-in-law is in the business, and you know my wife's whole family's been in the business. But honestly, it's like it's just family. It's just the people I love and call my extended family. So like I don't think I feel like when fans ask, they're asking from the fan perspective of like, oh my god, what an incredibly famous and successful family. Just what's that? They're thinking almost like as if I'm marking out because I'm married to my wife. Which is like I am, but like I'm marking out in love, not in fanboy sense. So that said, though, I will say like having someone like Vicky as my mother-in-law, especially even before we were married, when we were dating and I first met her and everything like that. She is, and you know, Devon, you know her. She's a sweetheart of a lady.
She really is. Yeah.
And she like it was just nice because she could help me out and just like, and she didn't like hold my hand, like she didn't do things for me. Like even when I was starting to, you know, go through NXT and then get called up to WWE, it's not like she was like moving mountains for me. None of that BS. She was just like, hey, if you need tips on where the best places like to stay or like, you know, rent cars and road tips, or if you need to know this camera guy's name, little things like that, just to kind of help you get around and help me kind of get on my feet sort of thing. So having her was a really, really, really valuable resource. But other than that, it's just, you know, it's just a fun family. You know, again, it's just my extended family, and that's kind of all I think of them as, even outside of wrestling.
Wow.
And how is the wife doing?
She's good, man. She is busy. She does, like, we're both doing this now kind of, but her especially. She is like the gig extraordinaire. She's all over the place. She's a burlesque dancer here in Chicago, which she has so much fun. She makes her own costumes. She like makes and bedazzles costumes for other people. She works part-time at a job. She dances with this group called the Vaudettes. They've been on the Jericho cruise a couple times where they do like rock and roll dance. She's a fire eater. So she does like you've seen it like sideshows or circus where they stick the and they breathe it back out and everything. She just learned to stick needles through her face. Like human pincushion stuff, like and like through your lips and everything like that. Oh yeah, she's super. She talks about wanting to swallow swords next, which I'm like, okay, if you really want to, I will support you. I promise. But yeah, but she and then she also, oh god, I forgot, she teaches like dance and burlesque at a studio here and everything. So man, she is like all over the place, but she loves it. She was just in Jericho's music video, her and a friend doing fire stuff for his most recent single. So yeah, she's a busy bee.
Awesome.
Now, Matt, did she ever want to follow in the footsteps of the family? Did she ever want to wrestle? And
so she did.
Oh, okay.
She was in NXT.
All right, okay.
That's where we met.
Was in NXT. Okay.
Yeah. So she was in NXT when she was actually in FCW when I first got there. She was doing pretty well at FCW. But then she's been very public about she struggles with an eating disorder. And so she left FCW at the time to go get treatment and everything like that. And when she came back, it was under the NXT banner. And that's when, as she likes to put it, like when I first came there, I was the scared puppy dog, pale white kid who wasn't even in shape yet, who got lucky to get a gig. And she was kind of the top dog. And so I remember meeting her, and she tells me when I first came in, she's like, oh, who's the pale kid who showed up? And So then she went away and she came back, and like I'd kind of found my sea legs, as it were, in NXT, and I was kind of like, I was on the shows now. I wasn't, carrying other people's bags kind of situation, right? I was getting booked and I was getting confident, and apparently that rubbed off a little bit, because she's like, yeah, I came back and she goes, you were like a totally different person, and you were confident, you were funny, you were like all this stuff, and yeah, so she was wrestling at the time. She went through a couple injuries, and between that and some like mental health struggles with, I mean, you could talk to a lot of these people. Like, it's not easy being in that family shadow. And especially I think on top of it, your dad is not just, another generation. It's Eddie Guerrero, universally kind of talking to all the boys in the back who knew him, kind of like was considered one of the greatest of all time. Like like unbelievable. So that pressure really affected her. And people love to look at people like a Charlotte Flair and stuff like that. And I don't mean to say this way, she's an exception. She is exceptional in many ways. So I mean that as a very positive thing, but like, it's hard for a lot of people. It's very hard to meet that expectation, let alone try to push it further. So like, kudos to Charlotte for being able to do that and for being in the right place and all that stuff. But yeah, no, she had a really hard time with it. And I think also for her, she wanted to love the in-ring portion of it more. And she never quite fell in love with it in the way a lot of us did. It just beat her up. And there wasn't that like, I'm beat up, but damn, that was fun. Good man. I think it just hurt. And she didn't have that same thing. She loved the business, like the environment of it. So she still does from time to time. She'll do like ring announcing or hosting. She's doing a show in Vegas. She just did like a show in Indiana. So she'll pop into the things like that from time to time, because she loves that live interaction, that we all know from pro wrestling, those live events, even independent events. Those fans are so, that immediate feedback and like back and forth that you get is there really is very, very little like it in any entertainment.
Right.
So like, she loves the thing. Dance is like her soul. So like for her to get back to that and being able to explore it in so many different avenues and venues is so cool to see, and see her really like come alive when she does that stuff. When I get to see her, it's really great.
I mean, it was funny because me and Bubba were good. Like I said, we were gone for 10 years, and then we come back. I remember seeing your wife. She came in the catering, and I went, "Who are you?" I was like, "You're not who I think you are." Because remember, the last time I saw her, 10 years prior to me leaving, she was barely like standing tall.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
She was a little kid. Used to come around with Eddie and Vicky. And I used to be like, wait a minute, you are not who I think you are. And she goes, yes, I am, Devon. I went, oh my God. And that's when it made me feel like I was like 900 years old. I'm like, good God. And it's amazing to see so many of the, the second generation, I don't want to say wrestlers, because some of them weren't wrestling, but you see some of the kids, we come back and all of a sudden they're grown. They have their own families, they're married or what have you. And it's like, where the hell did time go?
Yeah.
It's like, good God. I remember just seeing her and just was in awe. Because again, I remember when they used to come to the arenas and she was like, used to sit in the corner, play with a coloring book or what have you. And now all of a sudden she's a grown woman married to you. Yeah. And now, just out there in the world, I thought that was phenomenal. So, again, please give her my best. And
absolutely.
Tell her I said hello, please.
Absolutely.
From everybody here on Table Talk. Now, Aiden, I know we can't keep you longer, but thank you so much for coming on the show. But where can we find you on social media?
Oh, no, absolutely. This has been a blast. You guys are awesome. And it's great to catch up with you, Devon, of course.
Yes, absolutely.
But for me, I'll keep it pretty simple. I'm kind of everywhere. I'm doing a little bit of everything. So Drama King Matt, that's the name. You'll find me under everywhere. That's Instagram, that's Twitter, Twitch. I spend a lot of time doing that. YouTube, TikTok, all that mumbo jumbo. It's all Drama King Matt. You'll find me. Also, one of my other little side projects, Wrestling with Whiskey, Instagram, YouTube, as well as TikTok as well. So that's my hobby of collecting, talking about, nerding out about whiskey, because that was just something that happened apparently. But so I'm doing all kinds of things in all kinds of avenues. So Drama King Matt, Wrestling with Whiskey, you will find me on the internet.
I like the last part of it, whiskey. Love it.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Love it. Well, Aiden, thank you so. Aiden, look at that. I'm calling you Aiden.
See, no, it's okay.
Jesus.
I'm so used to it. I'm so used to it.
Matt, thank you for coming on the show, man. We wish you nothing but the best, and hope to have you on here again, my friend.
No, absolutely. Thank you guys, and it would be my pleasure.
All right, my man. You take care of yourself.
Bye,
Good luck
thank
in
you.
Impact. Bye-bye.
Good
Wow.
stuff.
I mean, that little story about his wife, it just brings back so many memories because I was shocked when I saw her. I couldn't believe she was grown. And again, last time I had saw her, she was barely, Vicky holding her by the hand, or Eddie was holding her by the hand, walking them into the building, and all of that. It's amazing how time just goes by. It waits for no one.
Yeah.
It waits for no one.
I mean, I can only imagine what it's like behind the scenes in the locker room and whatnot, working with all the stars and their families over the course of the years. But, from a viewer standpoint, seeing Dominic Mysterio being in the Eddie Guerrero Ray storyline years ago into being a superstar that, it makes you feel old, but yet at the same time, even as a viewer, you're kind of proud to see, hey, they went on and did something.
Absolutely. And I mean, it's one of those things where I remember Dominic being there. Dominic was a little small kid in the corner, scared to death of everybody that walked by him because we were giant. Everybody was a giant to him. He was so small. And I remember being in TNA, seeing pictures or what have you here and there, but it was like each year would go by, he would get bigger and taller. And I was like, damn, eventually he's going to catch up to Ray and beat Ray in height.
And he did.
And he did. It surpassed Ray.
Yeah.
Good God. I couldn't believe it. And then to actually come back after being gone for 10 years, and then Ray comes back, and then now he brings Dominic, and now Dominic is actually wrestling on Monday Night Raw. That was wow. That blew my mind.
And they put him, I wouldn't say necessarily pushed him right away, but he did get, some pretty big matches early on. What was it, SummerSlam, that he went one-on-one against Seth Rollins. Seth is great, obviously, but that's still a lot of faith to be put in a young star.
Well, not only that, but you got to also think about it. They put him in with the Beast. Also, they put him in with Brock Lesnar, where he got killed. I mean, if anybody said that boy didn't pay his dues, they don't know what they're talking about. You get in the ring with Brock Lesnar, he's going to make you pay your dues. There's no question about that. God damn these flies. I'm trying to not sell it, but I can't help it. I'm ready to jet one of these damn flies.
I say block away, man. Make it happen.
Listen, it's because the girls and Taylor, they go out, walk the dog. They leave the door wide open. All these bugs come in, and now I'm sitting up here on the podcast looking stupid trying to box some damn gnats. I tell them all the time, close the door behind you. Do not leave it open. And this is what I get. Shut up. Until they start buzzing around her hair and her head. And then all of a sudden, I can't stand these gnats.
You don't see me boxing flies.
No, you just boxing a 3-year-old behind you that's looking behind you going, I'm sitting up there looking at her. Aiden is talking. I'm trying to put it over. I go, what the hell? My head is telling like,
I'm listening to him talk, and I'm looking, and all of a sudden I see fingers coming up behind the chair, and I'm like,
well, hey, I remember, when we had Kofi on, and his son, he didn't even bother to just sneak in. He just came in. Boom. The
second time we had R-Truth on was great because his daughter was in the background,
making
faces and everything, trying to steal the spotlight.
well, at least I'm not the only one.
Oh no, absolutely. That's why I say all the time, if they're gonna come on, let them come on. Don't try to fight it because you're gonna look even stupider trying to tell them to go away. Just accept.
I know. I'm like, just go sit down.
The great part when she goes, I got a party. I went, oh boy.
I know. I was like, where's the mute button?
Not bad at all. But how are things down in Florida? How's your recovery? I'm sure people have been wondering, Devon, how you're feeling.
Yeah, it's been great. I mean, I've even posted pictures of us and the family Easter. Walking out, me without a cane, me without a brace or walker. It's been great. The only thing I get now is I get restless legs at night because sometimes I do a little bit too much during the day where I should be resting and taking it easy. And then the doctor said what happens is the nerves is like, what the hell is going on? Then by the time I go to lay down, I go to bed, now all of a sudden they're like going crazy. So I did get medicine for that. But other than that, I feel great. I don't feel the pain like I used to. My health is great. So I just want everybody to know that the health is great. And I thank you again. I can't begin to thank you enough for all the generous support and the stuff on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter for a speedy recovery and well wishes. I mean, thank you so much. It's truly been a blessing. So thank you very much. I'm doing great.
I will say I picked up the WWE 2K22. It's the first wrestling game I've picked up in many years. Graphics are great. I mean, they've definitely improved on a lot. There are some amazing downloadable divans available because you're not a regular announced character for the game, but your move set is iconic. Obviously, they're not going to not include the Dudleys, your move sets and everything. But some people,
I am in the game.
Well, the moves are in the game, but they're not going to be called, 3D necessarily.
Right.
But people are creative, especially people online putting their creative players. There's a lot of great divans that are available via search, and people downloading all of your logos, all of your graphics. I mean, like there are some that are just spot on. It's like, I'm like talking to the video game right now.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, thank you for those that are creating it. Thank you. Every time I try to play one of those video games, from the first time I was on it to even, to the last time I was on the video games, I can't seem to play. I get beat within 3 seconds. I get beat with myself 3 seconds. I can't believe it.
It sounds like most video games, though. I mean, you're not really good at the NBA games either.
I am good. My son just cheats.
Oh, okay.
And you and Lindsay took my attention away when you were talking to me. Preston was shooting the basket, and I didn't see it, and he scored a 3.
Oh, that's it. I mean, I was also talking phenomenal to him too. So
yeah, but he wasn't paying attention like I was.
Oh, okay.
At the time, he was a 12-year-old kid, and he didn't really understand that. So he was focusing on the game. But long and hold, I am probably one of the masters at NBA 2K.
Oh, okay. One of the
masters. Is this your spotlight right now?
This is my spotlight. Yeah, because you don't put me over, so I gotta put myself over. So anybody that want to ever challenge me on the NBA 2K.
There you go, Devon. There you go.
Anybody that doesn't want to ever challenge me on the NBA 2K, just let me know. Thank you, Mo. We should leave it like this.
No. Okay, and let me just say this. I beat you once on the NBA game.
I felt sorry for you.
Oh, did you now?
I felt sorry. I felt sorry.
She beat you.
I did.
This was like 10 years ago.
It was a long time ago. It was a long time ago.
It was like 40 years ago.
But you were better then. And I
sucked then. And I just felt sorry. I didn't want you to come in and start crying.
Oh, yeah.
And pouting and carrying on because, a legend like myself beat you in NBA 2K. I'm a legend when it comes to NBA 2K. Let's not talk about wrestling. NBA 2K. I'm the man.
Are you the man because you get to control like Michael Jordan and All-Star teams, or could you play with the schlot called the New York Knicks?
I played with the Knicks. I played with the Knicks with Patrick Ewing that year. The what was it? The 94-95 season. Like
Charles Oakley on that.
Yes,
on that roster.
Charles Oakley, Patrick Ewing, John Starks.
Yep.
John Starks. Oh God, I see their faces, but I can't remember their names. So many guys that were on that team, and again, to this day, I'm so upset because I thought the Knicks were going to actually win an NBA championship the year Jordan left to play baseball.
Right.
And every New York fan was excited about that. We wanted Jordan to leave. We didn't want him to come back because he was the one that was stopping the Knicks from advancing to the next round, to make it into the finals. So we were happy that he left. And the 1 year he left, we still couldn't win the championship. And we had a talented team and one of the greatest coaches of all time in Pat Riley. And we still couldn't get it. Still couldn't get it.
No. Do you watch sports, Taylor? Are you kind of a sports person or no?
Hell no.
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 I don't watch sports. My my grandparents are really into sports. My grandmother loves sports. She watches every sport there is: basketball, baseball, football, everything. But
Yeah, but here's the sad part about her grandparents is that they're from Ohio, so Cleveland Browns. What's the
you better
baseball?
hope Nana not watching.
Wait, what's the baseball team?
Well, the
Oh,
Guardians.
The Cleveland. Oh, right, they changed the name.
Yeah,
But what used to be the Cleveland Indians, and
or the Cincinnati Reds. Yeah, I
or the
mean,
Cincinnati Reds, or what's the college team? The big
Ohio
college
State.
team, Ohio State.
Buckeyes. Yeah.
Yeah, so you got to be.
I'm from
careful.
Ohio too, Taylor. So I
Oh,
understand.
really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so you got to be careful when you're talking to Ohio fans because they get
When
very dangerous. They get very violent when you go against their team or say something even remotely wrong about their team. They stop speaking to you. They cut you. They shoot you. They do everything
It's
possible.
true.
God.
Like, don't you dare disrespect the Ohio State Buckeyes. Woo.
I know. I have so many baby photos of me in all these outfits for the baseball teams, the Ohio State teams. And then when I had Talia, my grandmother went out and bought Talia this Ohio State pink onesie, and it had like a brown tutu on it. And my grandpa's taking pictures with her, like, cheese.
Oh, yeah, cheese. There she goes.
Yeah.
Hello.
Behind the chair. Hello, Talia.
Say hi.
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 I tell you, no, I'm not a Buckeyes fan. No, not at all. I'll be happy to cheer most Ohio teams, but
What are you
not that
talking?
one.
What are you talking?
I'm talking to Daddy.
What are you
So
talking
when,
guys for that? What you like this?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Okay, go back to the room.
Hey.
Okay.
she's the star now. It's too late. You're from the Taylor, you're from the Canton area, is that correct? Or Akron?
Yeah, I'm from Akron, Kent. Yeah.
Okay. All right. And when did you move out of Ohio?
My parents moved to Florida when I was about 5. I was about
Okay.
5 years old. Yeah, but excuse me. But my parents were born and raised there, and they grew up there. And then when I was about 5, they used to vacation to Florida all the time. And then when I was about 5, we moved here, and we've lived here ever since. But my grandparents lived here for a while, and then they moved back to Ohio. So.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I was just curious because there was there could have been a crossover time. You moved out pretty early, but I actually did radio in both Cleveland and Canton at one point early in my career. That's where I started. So
Wow.
maybe there's a slight chance that you're like, oh my God, I used to listen to your horrible show back then.
I didn't even know you were from Ohio, honestly.
Yeah, closer to the Toledo area.
Yeah, that's a little far out. That's on the other side.
And Devon's like, ugh, all this Ohio talk.
Look, I started waking up when you start talking about New York. The Knicks, the Jets. Well, the Jets when they were somewhat good during the season, and then they would always lose towards playoffs. The Yankees, the greatest team in the history of baseball. Don't fall asleep on the Yankees.
Lord.
No, not the Yankees, but I mean, you kept loving on the Jets and the Knicks, so it's.
Listen, I left the Knicks when they traded Patrick Ewing. Like I always said, I was pissed off. I was mad, and there we go, Byron. Okay, because Byron's a Pittsburgh fan.
Just go ahead, tell him the usual.
Shut up, Byron.
All right, there we go. Yeah.
I hope Byron's coming to my 50th birthday party. That's an invitation, Byron. Even though I don't like you because you're the Pittsburgh Steelers fan, I'm inviting you.
Wow.
We'll be sending you. We'll be sending Noel and then we'll be sending you an invite. So just know that's coming.
All right. So you're not a sports person, Taylor. But last thing before we wrap up the show here, what were you into growing up?
Honestly, dolls. Shut up, Devon. I played softball for a little bit, but I feel like I did that, and my uncle who helped raise me, Devon, you better shut your mouth. Devon laughs at me, okay, because I played softball, but I might not have been, that wonderful at softball.
You weren't the greatest of all time?
No.
It was like the ball popped up in the air. She had the glove here. Bam! Ball right there. Didn't hit the glove.
But my uncle loved, he was at every game, every practice. Like that was his joy, I guess to say. But other than that, I worked a lot, like once I was old enough to have a job, and that was my thing. I wasn't a sporty person. I like snacks too much.
Snacks are great.
Snacks are life.
Yeah, now she bakes them, and now I'm trying to not weigh 500 pounds, because I can't go to the gym fully right now because, I got to wait for the back to heal. So every time I turn around, she's at the oven, and I'm like, what are you doing? You better not be baking a cake.
I made cornbread tonight with dinner. I made chili for dinner. I made cornbread to go with the chili. I'm pouring the cornbread batter into the pan, and he yells at me from the living room, "Are you making a cake right now?" No, it's cornbread. Oh, okay.
See, when I got out of surgery, I lost my appetite big time, and the doctor said it was because of the anesthesia being under it, and it went all the way into like 3 or 4 weeks
Oh, wow.
of after surgery. I lost my appetite, so I was dropping weight like crazy. So if she did click on any of that, it was good. I didn't care because I wasn't eating a lot of it anyway. Now that I got my appetite back, I'm like, stop cooking, stop, enough.
And let me say this too. When Devon was in the hospital, I was waiting for him to come out of surgery. So me and my girlfriend went and got all these snacks, all his favorite like treats and chips and this and that, just to make it feel more at home. And all the nurses were just laughing at how much food was in his room, and he wouldn't even eat it because he didn't have no appetite, but this man had chips and cookies and donuts and candy and juice. My friend would get him milk and juice and 4 different types of soda on ice for him. Like,
wasn't
and the nurses
eating
were like,
any of it.
Okay.
Yeah, because they were there the whole time. I mean, and again, you got to leave the hospital, so all of the stuff you either throw away in the garbage or you got to take it with you.
I mean, I ate the snacks. So.
Yeah, her and her friend ate the snacks, and that was it. So I didn't eat any of it, man.
Can't let it go to waste.
No, you can't.
And I don't know, Devon, if you realize how many guys out there would love for their woman to cook more, and here you are trying to tell yours to stop.
Listen, I've seen, with retired wrestlers, you always got fans out there taking a picture when you're not seeing, when you're not looking at them or seeing them. They'll take it out the corner of the eye, and they'll have it like this.
Uh-huh.
And do that. Next thing you know, my big ass is on social media about what happened to Devon. Good God, he fell off. I ain't trying to look that way. I ain't trying. I can't do it, man.
Don't worry, I got you on the sugar-free.
Yeah, I bet you do.
That is awesome. Well, I don't know about you, but this show has flown by for me. I can't believe it's already time to wrap things up. But we will be back next week. Do we have confirmation of a guest next week?
Yes, Paola Mayfield.
Yes, she was on 90 Day Fiance, so she'll be on it. Who's now
and,
current pro wrestler. I'm sorry.
And she's an independent star too.
Independent star, yep. And then we also got some confirmations for some up and coming guests even after that, which would be Wes Briscoe.
Yeah.
We were with Wes Briscoe and Aces and Eights, and Big Vito.
Yes.
Big Vito. So we got them coming up after. So those are all confirmed. We can start making graphics and putting it out there. The fans can start letting people know that those guests will be out there also as well. But I'm sure we're going to get some 90 Day Fiance fans watching the show this next week, which I'm very happy with because, again, Table Talk is not just a wrestling podcast. It's us for doing
everything.
Everything.
It's everything. Now, with that said, Taylor, you're going to have to pop in and ask some questions. This is be your time to shine.
I'm prepared because can we rewind it 2 episodes ago where Devon was like, "Oh, no 90 day, nothing on this podcast." Look at us now.
Mo, you and I will be sitting there like this. We won't get a word in edgewise. Trust me when I say it. We will not get a word in.
Yeah, she's in the wrestling field. That's you.
No, you're going to be asking her about the 90 Day Fiance thing. How did you get the visa over here with the guy and this and that and blah, blah, blah. I know you.
And that's fine because we're not just a wrestling podcast.
Nope.
So not. I look forward to it. You should just control everything next week.
Okay, well, guys, I'm not prepared.
I look forward to it.